It's your turn to be the game master. How do you keep all the lore, monsters, and treasures straight? Introducing the Beadle Grimm's Game Master's Journal. Start by choosing your cover art, add text to remind you why you play, then plan your adventures with over 200 pages for character backstory, encounters, session logs, and more. When the campaign is over, you'll have a record of your character's bravery, cowardice, or both. Probably both.
Hi, my name is Matthew Lillard. I am one of the co-owners of BEADLE GRIMM, and I always say the best way to spend a life is around a table with your dearest friends. And how do you make that happen? Well, first you need a table. We don't make a table. And you also need chairs. I don't know why you would have chairs if you don't have a table. We don't really make chairs. Hey guys, we don't make chairs. I don't know why I'm saying. How else do you bring people together? How about a game? How about an exciting game? How about a game that's fun for RPG players and board game players and card game players? A game that is super easy to learn and incredibly satisfying to master. A game like this one. Welcome to Ring of Chaos, the very first game designed by your friends at BEADLE Grimm's. Here's the story. An all-powerful artifact, the Ring of Chaos, has been unearthed in an ancient temple. Adventurers from all over the world, heroes and villains, men and monsters, descend on the temple to try and claim this newfound power for their own. As a player, you will select a party of 4 adventurers questing for the ring. Each of these adventurers gives you access to special cards and powers. Keep them alive and your party will be mighty. Let them perish and you get progressively more vulnerable to attacks. Get the ring and then hold on to it for long enough to summon the powerful gods of chaos to do your bidding. Or fight the competitors until there's no one left to challenge you. Ring of Chaos is simple mechanics, but is packed with strategy. With multiple ways to win, it's fast-paced, competitive, and seriously fun. We at BEADLE Grimm's are so incredibly proud of Ring of Chaos. It's our first completely original game, so please support us and buy our product, because it's an awesome game. Also, after that, you should consider buying a table, because it's time.
Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Band of Badgers, and this is another Q&A which is live, which involves you, the viewer, to ask us, well, not ask questions, ask our guest questions, which is over there. Hi Bill, how you doing?
I'm excellent, man. That lightning strike is quite dramatic.
It is. It wakes everybody up, which is great. I love it. And Steve's back today. He wasn't here yesterday. How you doing, Steve?
You don't really want to know, but I'm okay.
That's fine. I like the way he actually did a Max Headroom there. He's like, and then he's like that. That was great. We can tell this is going to work well. You need to change your battery, Steve. Right. So anyway, as you know, for those of you joining us live, thank you very much. Put your questions into chat. Do it now if you can, or as we start talking. I just noticed something. I'll come back to that. Put them in chat and we will throw them up onto screen. We have a hell of a lot to talk about. We will be talking about Ring of Chaos. We will be talking about Faster Purple Worm Kill. We will be talking about a brand new product. Ooh. We will be talking about something that's back in stock. We will be talking about Black Friday stuff. And possibly we might be able to talk about tease something new. I say that we might just run out of time. Who knows? We'll see what goes on. Now,
you're a bastard.
Yes, I am. We're going to save it till the very last 10 seconds, and we'll see what happens. Now, I love that, Dave the Bastard. Thank you very much.
That's getting on a t-shirt, that is.
Yeah. Speaking of t-shirts, I just noticed. Look, Bill's wearing a t-shirt. Look at that. He's a fan.
That's right. Fine, my friend.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys.
There you go. Get your merch. There you go. There's the link. Fantastic.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, I feel like you guys and us, we kind of been growing up together the last 5 years. So
exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff been going on. All behind. All Dragon Skull Studio says hi, Bill. Do you want to say hello to us? But hi, Bill.
Fuck you
what
all.
else we got?
Hi, Bill.
Dragon Ball Industry teases you, say. Well, that has to happen. Yes, it all does. It's all going to happen. But first, how are you doing, Bill? How is everything? You have a TV show. I can't believe that. You're on TV.
Super weird.
Just to point out, it's not available in the UK, so I haven't seen it.
I know.
But the photos look amazing.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing, actually. Yeah, this is something that we sort of were fooling around with a couple of years ago. I think it was, help me out, was it 2021, the D&D live show that we we did it? So I think in 2020 or maybe earlier in 2021, we came up with this idea to do a show. And the idea was basically, we were looking at the landscape of live play role-playing games. And for us, like the idea of, 3-hour, 5-hour play, like I feel like there's so much of that out there right now. And we just felt like if we tried to jump in at this point, all we'd be doing is, just trying to emulate what everybody else was doing. And we just wanted to kind of try to come up with some kind of fresh take on the idea. And what we kept coming back to was the idea of, something for people with, quite frankly, shorter attention spans. But also something that feels a lot more accessible for people who aren't big role-playing game people.
But it is. I mean, it's one of those things. The clips and from what we get from the trailer, from the clips that I've seen, because again, we can't get it in the UK yet. It is coming. We just don't know when, but it is coming. Yeah. It's like an improv show, a comedy, a D&D game. It's full of a lot of laughs, and it's really cool. It's something very unique. We saw the rough draft back in D&D Live. Did you have an idea of it might become something like this? Like you get a TV show?
No, I guess you dream about it, but we actually tried it out on our own stream, and we just kind of felt like, well, maybe this is something that we do at a con every now and then. It's sort of a fun thing. But just to catch everybody up, for anybody who isn't familiar with it, the basic idea of the show is every episode starts with a cast of 4 first-level characters who are full of hopes and dreams and ambitions for becoming the great heroes of legend. And within the hour, they encounter one of the most powerful and iconic monsters in Dungeons and Dragons lore and are summarily slaughtered. So every game ends with a total party kill. Everybody dies, and the next episode starts with a fresh cast of people. So, in terms of making an accessible sort of D&D as entertainment show, it's always first level. Every episode is a standalone episode. We're like, the CSI of Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't matter what order you see them in. There's no through line.
It's the same format.
It's same format. I'm the host of every episode, but everything else changes. There are new DMs, new cast. So that's I think a big part of the appeal of the show in terms of just having it have a really different feel from the things that are out there. So I know I'm bouncing around. So yes. So we did it on our own stream. We did it at D&D Live. And then we decided after that we felt like it was a strong enough idea that we wanted to go find somewhere to do it. So we basically went back to WotC, to D&D, to get their blessing to say, we want to do this as a licensed show. Are you okay with us taking this out? And it just happened that they had their own plans for this D&D Adventures channel that they have now set up. And they were looking for content for that channel, and in particular, content for that channel that would be in an hour-long format. So we just got really lucky in a way that we had this thing that happened to fit almost exactly what they were looking for at the time. And we had this pre-existing relationship, which obviously helped a great deal. So, every moment of this journey has been sort of a I can't believe this is happening kind of thing, that thing where you're pinching yourself and going, surely at some point this whole thing is going to fall apart. Surely at some point they're going to tell us that they changed their mind, or, I think the biggest moment for me in sort of the pre-production process, where I sort of realized finally that maybe this is actually going to happen, is when we pitched them the name of the show and they said, yeah, all right. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a bananas name for a show that, like, when we said that and they basically just said, yep, it's your vision, it's your baby, you guys do what you want. That's when we said, oh, okay, they're actually going to let us do our show. Because up until then, there was always the fear of, having worked in Hollywood for a long time, and obviously Matt worked in Hollywood for a very long time. You're very accustomed to people saying, yes, we love it, but change everything. Like, that is a very typical experience to have in film and television. So that was sort of the point at which we said, oh, they're actually going to give us what we want here. And that was really, really wonderful. So,
I mean, the TV channel, the Dungeons and Dragons Fast channel, as we know it to be, there's a cooking show, which is Heroes Feast.
Yep.
There's you guys. There is the D&D 80s cartoon, which we all love because they never come home. Spoilers. What else is on there? Do you know what else is on there?
There were three original content things that they created and funded, and we all shot back to back to back. So the first one was a show called Encounter Party, which is a long form, sort of a more classic sort of D&D streaming story, but they've broken it into hour chunks instead of the 2 or 3 hour chunks that a lot of us are accustomed to. And then I think we were second. Yeah, we were second. We shot second. And then, so we shot 20 episodes in 7 days. So every day we were shooting either 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It was, so that was a really intense, really wonderful couple of weeks there.
I remember the adverts because you guys were putting stuff out on socials, because it's a live audience.
Oh yeah.
And that was like, oh, if I'd lived there, I would be there. Because it sounds amazing, but it is you're filming a different episode, back to back. So is it the same audience, or can I?
No, we were. I mean, people. I think there were some. I remember there being some, super fans where you'd look out in the audience and go, "Oh, crap, you're still here, really?
Still here?" Yeah.
But no, we changed people out every episode, which was great. You don't want an audience that's tired of you, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a small audience, but so that actually is a story. If you don't mind me rambling on for a minute. So once we figured out that we were actually going to do this show and they were going to let us do it, we realized we'd only done it a handful of times. We hadn't really tried it out much. And, since it's an improv show, you're not writing stuff out. You're not scripting it and rehearsing it, or in that sense. So we felt like we needed to give it some extended test drives, in front of audiences, and find out what works and what doesn't. So we went to this bar called Guildhall in Burbank, which is this great gaming bar, really wonderful people. The clientele there is, it's a game oriented space. So it seemed like the right place to do it. They agreed very graciously to give us a little bit of space in the back. So we scheduled a 6-week run there, where just I think it was Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night we would do a Purple Worm show and just try shit out and see what worked and what didn't. I think the first night there were maybe 6 people in the audience. And then the next time it was more like 15. And then the next time it
catch
was
on,
30.
spread the word.
Yeah, exactly. As word kind of got out. And that was a big sort of validator for us, because the people who came and watched it enjoyed it enough that they were actually telling people and getting more people to come. And So anyway, by the end of that run, we had a really big crowd. We, a standing room only. We had the whole back courtyard. So when we originally were going through the budgets for the show with E1, who is the production arm of Hasbro, the one thing that they said no to was a live audience. And it was,
Really?
Purely for budget reasons. They said, it's really expensive. You've got to hire people to, move people in and out, and there are insurance issues. And it actually is a fairly complicated thing to have a bunch of people come in every day. So we sort of said, okay, we think this is really important, but we understand where you're at. So we waited until we got to that last show where we had this huge crowd of people who, were really enjoying the show and supporting us. And then we invited the producers to that show. And so they got to see it in front of a live audience with all the audience interaction and us taking stuff, ideas from the audience and pulling people in to be NPCs and all this really fun stuff that comes out of having them there. And, to their credit, the minute the show was over, we went over and said hello to them, and they said, okay, we understand now. One way or another, we're going to get you an audience. And that was really wonderful. It really, really gratifying that they saw what we were trying to do. And once they saw it in action, they understood how big a part of the show it was going to be.
Now, one of the things you mentioned, the different episodes, you've also got different players. They rotate around. We got some pictures. Let's bring that pose up on screen.
Yeah.
So you got Deborah Ann Roll. That's Jason from Paizo, I believe. Jason Bullman.
Bullman, yeah.
No,
it's not. I thought that was Jason.
No, that's
it looks
Steve Agee with his hand up there, and then Luis Barrazo is next to John.
John on the end. Yeah. I thought that was Jason.
It does look like Jason.
Sorry, Jason.
It's not just you.
Who else we got?
Yeah, and then Amy Vorpal on the end, and then So every show is a different cast, and that was wonderful too, because I think it's really important to us and to D&D that we really show that the community of D&D is very different than what it was when people like us or people like me were growing up in the 80s, when it was mostly white males in their teens playing this game in solitude because it was so not something that you could admit to in public. It's a very diverse community, and by being able to have a different cast in every episode, I think we were able to include a huge variety of not just people physically, but the kinds of players, the kinds of DMs, the kinds of stories that they wanted to tell. There's an episode, I think it's next week's episode, that Gina DeVivo DMs, and she came up with a concept, and I won't ruin it, but it's a concept that I never would have come up with. It's not the kind of story that I tell. It's not the kind of story that I think about when I think about D&D, but it's a fantastic episode. It's wonderful. It's a great story. It's hilarious. And that was a big sort of plus for us in having all these different DMs and all these different players, is we got to see versions of Dungeons and Dragons that we never would have come up with on our own.
Yes.
But could also be part of our show and fit into the show that we were, that we had designed. So, and that's what I think will allow us to continue to do this. God willing, and the creek don't rise, and and people want to see this thing and show up for it. There was some concern early on that, boy, if you kill everybody in every episode and it's just the same kind of thing, isn't this going to get repetitive? And I think the reason it doesn't is because of the groups of people who participate in it, because they're bringing their own personalities, they're bringing their own selves into it, and that becomes such a big part of it that every show ends up feeling really unique.
There is some of the clips I saw. There's funny moments, there's the touching moments, and people get to bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
The ideas are spinning, and this is what I mean about it's very funny, but it's very improv. So you can go from a very high to actually, well, this is a nice tender moment. They're sharing something,
Yeah.
and just and we know Matthew's very good at doing that. So when we see it on screen, I think that's one of the attractiveness to this kind of thing. It introduces more people to D&D, to games, to that kind of storytelling, to be
Yeah.
a part of it. To You're not just watching when you're playing around a table. You're not just watching someone else. Your character, your persona, is actually there with them. So interact with them. You get to join that scene. Now we're talking about the photos we had up on screen. That's the kind of stuff we've seen before. We've got a DM, a GM, we've got the team of players.
Yeah.
But we've also got something new with this one, which is, well, there's you.
Yeah.
So we've got some questions on this as well. We'll just bring this one in. We've got Baron Snowhand says, has any player made you laugh so much you forgot that what you were doing and had to take a moment to compose yourself? Now, I imagine you being on the sidelines, there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff.
There are many moments like that. I mean, the first one that jumps to mind is there was a moment in it was I think the very last episode we shot that Patton Oswalt was in. And John Ciccolini was the DM, and through a mechanism in the game, Patton Oswalt's character was forced to tell a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an improv show. Nobody warned him. We didn't tell him that he was going to have to come up with a joke. It just got dropped on him. And I mean, we all know he's fucking brilliant, and you expect it's going to be pretty funny, but the thing that he came up with just killed me. And I remember that one very, very distinctly, of just going, not just, oh my God, that was so funny, but also, how did I end up on stage with somebody this good? Like, I feel like I'm way out of my league right now. There was a moment in, there's an episode that Matt is in, that was DM'd by Jared Logan, which was a really fun episode because they all played evil characters, evil thieves robbing an orphanage. So very, very, very funny episode. But this wonderfully talented guy who I was not familiar with, I'm embarrassed to say, whose name is Ross Bryant, was generous enough to come on. He's in other episodes as well, but he came on as an NPC in what we thought was going to be this sort of short bit. And he was so funny, so brilliant, so fast, that he ended up becoming sort of the centerpiece of the whole episode because he was just so good. And the stuff that happens between him and Matt in that episode are so funny that it rendered me fairly useless for long periods of time. So those are the two that jump to mind, but there were 20 other ones where just people made me laugh.
To that, Baron Snowhand says, as an agent of chaos, I have to ask, which player is the most chaotic one you had on the show? You're not allowed to say Matthew.
Yeah, well, that would have been my first. Would have been my first choice for sure. The most chaotic. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of chaos. Everybody's such a pro. We're very, very lucky that we were able to use people who are very experienced and very smart about this stuff. So nobody ever went so far off the rails that it was problematic. It was always the best possible kind of chaos.
I'm just I can't wait for it to come out in the UK. Again, we've talked about it, and we've talked about it off air. Me and Steve have been talking about it for when it's gonna turn up. So if you have access to Amazon Free, you can see it on there. It is there, but it's not allowed in the UK because of licensing rights. They just didn't tip the man who does it. That's all I can think of.
Not that we're saying that bribing is good or anything. That we're not endorsing bribery in any way, shape, or form.
Unless it gets us the programs.
We are though, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Aren't we?
So, yeah, exactly. Why not? I mean, they want to spread the word across the world. You know, don't limit them. Just we're here too.
Yeah, we just sell people's VPN networks for them. It's fine.
We'll be in the pub and there'll be someone come around with a dodgy DVD saying, "Yeah, do you want some purple worm? That's what it's going to be. All right, mate. £5, £10.
Yeah,
it's going to be
right. And then you realize it's me.
Just kickstart the 80s video piracy trade all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna change tack now because we've only got built for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
So the latest Kickstarter, Ring of Chaos, looks absolutely epic, and I'm gonna firstly say we know it is because we got to play test it, which astonishing. We got to play test it. It was a very, very, very rough version. It's not the version you see now with all the lovely artwork and stuff. It's completely polished. We'll put some slides up on the screen in a sec. But it was a great game.
I think the play test you guys had was basically like me scribbling shit on scraps of paper or something, right?
It was blank pieces, and it said, "This is a map. These are your characters. This is your player sheet.
Right.
Imagine that this is it. Imagine that this is here." And go for it. But even with just even with that, the basic rules, the basic premise was great. It's going in. It's a quick game that you can, once you know the rules, that's it. This is something like riding a bike. You're never going to forget these rules. They're going to get stuck in your head. You put the map out. It's a skirmish game. You play against the other person or the other people in playing the table, and that's it. You can play dirty rules if you want to. You can team up if you want to against someone else on the table. You can do whatever you want to do, but you've got to do it with your 4 characters. You've got to do it before you die, and you have to be the last person standing. That's it. And it's great. We had games that lasted for about an hour, just over an hour. We had games that lasted 20 minutes because once you start getting into this, the game, your strategic game mind says, right, here we go. I'm going to get you now, and I know what I'm going to do. It doesn't like D&D. It never turns out the way you expect, but your game plan, the cogs start ticking. It's like yes. So let's have a look at some of these as it comes and talk us through if you can. Fantastic box art.
Thank you. Yeah.
Looks amazing.
Thank you.
How long has this been? Whose idea? Who sparked this idea, and how long has it taken from start to a Kickstarter?
Yeah, so it was my idea originally, and it was just something that I was noodling around with for whatever reason. One of the really nice things about our company is I think we all give each other room to play around with ideas, bring things in, and just sort of spend a certain amount of your time developing those things. Just to see where they go. And some of them, you play around it for a while, you realize it's a dead end and you move on to something else. But this was one that we started playing around with. I think it came out of the idea that, all 5 of us, the 5 founders of Beadle and Grimm's, we do retreats together where the 5 of us will go off to a house to just stay for a couple of days and talk through business stuff. And there we are.
There you are.
Yeah.
It does look like
that's actually on one of our retreats. Actually, that photo was taken. So
it looks like a John Bon Jovi album cover,
doesn't it? Yeah,
exactly. He's the band on tour.
That's right. It's our U2 Joshua Tree shot. Except we should all be looking in different directions and be solid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's not anybody's truck. That's somewhere.
No. That's at a place we rented. It just looks cool.
Is it
but yeah, and then
rusted?
yeah,
Is it
you had to pay extra to
wheels?
have them come out and rust it for you for the photo op. Yeah. So, and we also, we all get together in the summers and do a family camp together where we all bring our spouses and our kids, and and playing games is a big part of those events. We play with all our kids, and in our downtime and the retreats, we play games. So it's something that's always been sort of on my mind, and so I gave this thing a try. And I would say, let's see, you did the play test probably a year ago, right? I think it was around Christmas last year.
Yeah. I think that was very early on because the artwork hadn't been finalized.
Yeah,
the base rules.
I might have even had a different name at that point. I can't remember, but anyway. So yeah, we probably started like 8 months before that, where I was just sort of fooling around with the rules, and I would bring it whenever we got together, and we would just play test it, and the guys would all contribute their ideas, and we'd all sort of incorporate it from there. So everybody got involved and contributed to where it is now, which has the fundamental ideas of what I brought in, and sort of the the 4 players or the 4 characters that each person commands and everything. But lots of things have changed and evolved since then. But I think overall, for a company that's never made a game before, we've never made anything out of whole cloth like this. Everything we've done previously has been off of somebody else's IP or in collaboration with other people or whatever. So
do you see? I have a question in terms of, so this is the first real game. This is BEADLE GRIMM's from the ground up. Has the experience been good enough creatively to get it? Because we all have this kind of bubbling up, and you've got to get it out, got to get it created to say, I want to do it again. We're going to continue to see Dungeons and Dragons Platinums and BEADLE Grimms, more stuff coming out in 2024.
100%.
Are we going to see? And we have certain releases of those. We know it's coming. We're just waiting for the announcements, which might come later. They might not. But are we going to see maybe 2 original BEADLE Grimms board games come out, or are we going to see expansions to this? How are we? Again, just wanted to know. What more
I mean, I think the first part is yes, it's been incredibly rewarding. We've all had a great time with it. We're incredibly grateful about the support we've gotten on the Kickstarter so far. People really came out and supported it and showed that that this is something that they want to see us do. So all of that has been great. Obviously, there's that. I've always been a big music person, and the second album sort of is, it has a reputation of being where bands crash against the rocks. So the idea of putting out our second album is a little daunting. We want to be careful that we only put out things that we're really passionate about. And again, that's a nice luxury that we have. We're not a board game company where we have to say we have to get 6 board games out a year or we don't keep the lights on. We have our other things that we do that are the core of our business. And when we have a real passion for something, we're gonna try to bring it to light and bring it in front of people and find out if it's something that they're interested in. As far as expanding this, I think somebody asked that question. I can't remember who it was, but it's a great question because this game really does lend itself to that extremely well. There are I actually had started designing an expansion for it. There you go. I had actually started designing an expansion for it with the idea that we might include it as part of the Kickstarter. We decided to keep the Kickstarter really simple. We didn't want to overload people with stretch goals and tiers and stuff. We just wanted to keep it very straightforward. So we're going to hold that back a little bit. But I mean, there's 2 ways to expand it. And I know this is for people who haven't played the game, this is all going to sound like nonsense, so I'm going to keep it really short. But basically, there's two ways to expand the game. One is to continue to expand on the rule set that exists, which would be, a lot of people have expressed interest in a two-person version of it. And I've started to develop a sort of a dual version of Ring of Chaos, that it's a 1v1 game. It has some other mechanics and things like that. So it's not something that I want to just sort of slap into the original game. I think it deserves its own sort of setup as a 1v1 game on its own. That will have a lot of in common with the original game, but kind of deserves its own space to breathe. And then there's, just adding new factions with new powers and stuff, which is very easy to do. We added 2 brand new maps for the Platinum Edition. And that's been a lot of fun. One, the Linus just brought up. We did show pictures of the Tentacle map, which we've nicknamed Tentacle Island because it's a map where the altar is on a freestanding island that you can't get to through normal movement. So it really changes the game because there are only a few cards in the deck that have things like teleport or powers where you can switch places with other people. And so those cards become extremely valuable, and it becomes much easier once you have taken possession of the ring to isolate yourself from everybody else. Range weapons become much more powerful in this version. So anyway, it just changes all the dynamics of the thing. And then there is a fourth one. I can't really answer what it is. I've got 2 different ideas that I'm fooling around with right now. But again, the idea is to come up with new setups that really change your tactics in some fundamental way, not just, well, it's a different background and it's got a few more spaces on it or a few less spaces on it or whatever. So trying out things like that. So that's sort of one way to expand it. The other way to expand it that I think could be really fun is to essentially reskin it, which would be, it could be just another just design concept of, doing a cosmic horror version of Ring of Chaos that has a completely different aesthetic to it. All the art's different, feels very different, has new heroes with new powers, all sort of themed around cosmic horror. That would be a great way to do it. Not that I have, thought that through, and that may or may not be the expansion that I was planning on doing. But another thing would be to incorporate other existing IPs. And that is something that we would also be interested in exploring if there was a property that fit well with the way that the rules work, and you could incorporate somebody else's heroes and story into our rule set. That would be a really cool thing to do too. So open to all that kind of stuff. We're kind of putting it all in the back burner as we wait to see how successful this thing will be. But again, we're really grateful for the amount of support. We've already sort of surpassed our expectations, and that's making us very optimistic about the future of doing more things with this. I'm very long-winded, aren't I? I realize you.
No, it's good. But the thing, so it's lovely to talk about something because you, like us, you're just a gaming geek. So it's people who have grown up with this, who are into games. It's not just something we play. It's a hobby. It becomes a lifestyle. It becomes part of you because we remember these stories. We remember those games.
Yeah.
We don't remember every single minute, but remember what happens to each of our players, each of our friends around the table, the bits that make us laugh. And that's what we enjoy the most. And games, especially over, again, we still bring up COVID and lockdown periods, but after that, we wanted to get back together. We wanted to be more social. And I think that's a great thing. My little boy, who's going to be 9 in a couple of weeks, he loves playing D&D. We've dug out the Dragonlance set, which you can see behind me. He loves looking for it because the handouts, maps. He's like, well, what happens here? What's going to happen here? I was like, well, we have to find out. Like, what's this? The tactileness of games is great. And, we play Hero Quest. He even helped me. We were doing the playtest with him because it was so easy for him to pick it up as a game. He didn't know what it was. It was like a demo or blank playtest. He's like, okay, what's the rules? How do I play? Oh, I've got to play against you. Okay, right. And that's it. The competitive nature was great. So
that's great.
Yeah, the family nature of these games is fantastic. Now we have some more photos. We're going to bring these up on screen. If you talk us through these, that would be great. We've got there's Matthew. These are you guys playing Ring of Chaos.
Yeah, so this was just last week. You can see there at the bottom of the screen that blue and white piece of paper. That is the rough draft of the Tentacle Island map. So we had the artist do a rough of it. I designed it, and then I gave it to the artist. The artist did a rough, and then we just play tested it last week to make sure that it worked the way that we expected it to work. And I was a little bit worried about would the layout of it be frustrating to people, if you were because of the limitations that it put on it. But it was great. We had a great time. And there's Polly.
Cool, yeah. I know some of the teams that are in the game. So I know that the Giant Slayers are there.
Yeah.
What team are you? Do you have a favorite team, or do you always play Grimm?
No, actually, I don't. No, I do. I have a favorite? Not really. I mean, I think the Dread Legion. We were talking about this before. Dread Legion is what I was playing there that night, and that's the undead, and I have a thing for zombies and undead, so it's super fun.
So don't we all?
Right?
So say we all. Yes,
right?
Exactly.
The art came out great, and it's the superpower for, and this won't make sense. You haven't played the game, but the superpower for that team is that you can continue to use your class cards even if your hero is dead, since they're dead anyway. So it simplifies the game a little bit. Like if somebody was playing for the very first time, that you'd say, well, that's a good one to start with because it's simple. It's a power that just simplifies your tactics rather than one where you have to remember that, oh yeah, I have that thing. I got to figure out a way to make use of it. So
we have so in terms of the Kickstarter, we have the regular edition. Which is really, really affordable, which someone else brought up earlier. I can't find it now. Stephen,
I'll find it. Sorry.
But there is actually a platinum version as well. So we've got an image of that. There's the platinum version, which comes with plastic minis, not the cardboard standees, but plastic minis.
Yeah.
What was the decision behind that one? I mean, platinum is what you guys are known for.
That's kind of it, right? Like it just felt like such a natural fit for us.
Yeah.
And we really went into this feeling very passionately that we wanted it to be the base version to be a very affordable game. Like, we wanted it to be available to everybody. We're very aware that we function in a space where not everybody can afford everything that we do. And that's just part of being sort of this, high end sort of brand. But for this, we really wanted to make sure that it was available to everybody. But we do have a lot of experience and expertise in making these sort of higher end versions of things. So we wanted to see if we could come up with a package that felt valuable, and I think we did end up with that. The maps are much bigger. There's 4 instead of 2, which I think. We didn't just the minis obviously are awesome. They look great. Monster Fight Club did those the renders for us, and they came out wonderful. You can see a lot of them on the Kickstarter now. But that's aesthetic. They look cool, but we wanted to make sure that if we were going to charge people more money for this thing, that we actually also included things that would just fundamentally change or improve your experience with the game. And I think that's what the extra maps really do. That it gives you different opportunities to try out different tactics, and hopefully people who buy the Platinum Edition, will get a lot more use out of it over time, because when they get tired of doing one map and they feel like they've kind of figured it out, they can switch over to Tentacle Island or whatever and try something that really feels really different. So hopefully it provides a lot more gameplay, a lot more varied gameplay for them. And
You've got here last son is saying that he wants that ring. I'll shove it up on screen again. So this is the Ring of Chaos itself.
Yep.
Baron Snowhand is calling him out.
So that's
So that's something now.
That's the art. You guys, that's hilarious. So that's the art render. We're actually having the prototype made right now. So hopefully we're going to get a physical prototype in a week or two. But for anybody who has seen our Spelljammer box. The ring that we used in all of our play testing is the
Ring of Stars.
Yes, the Ring of Shooting Stars from Spelljammer, and I should have had one here, but I don't. Anyway, yeah, I do. Hold on. Please wait while we experience technical difficulties. Anyway, so we designed it around this piece, so it's going to be pretty similar. Hang on. My God, how many bags is this thing in?
It's chaos.
It's Louise.
There you
right?
go.
All right, here we go. Camera. So this is the Ring of Shooting Stars from our Spelljammer box. So this is what we've asked them to kind of emulate in terms of the size and quality and whatever. So yeah, it'll look somewhat like that, but obviously the artistic design is the picture you saw before. And that's the thing that everybody's after in the game, that lives on the map as you play. And the idea is that it's sized so that anytime that you are the character who's holding the ring, your standee or your mini will fit perfectly on top of the ring to demonstrate that you're the one who's holding it, and it moves around on the board with you. So that's how it's all
fantastic. We're gonna move on as well. These are the player cards. Or your character kind of like a character sheet, kind of like character cards. But the idea is that you have your fighter, cleric, rogue, and wizard as it's depicted there. It's basically you get hit, you're wounded, you get hit again, you're dead. Now you can get healed and you can get resurrected. What happens if that doesn't? You slowly get whittled down until you're out of the game. But the longer you can keep hold of that, the Ring of Chaos, the more points you get per round. So it becomes very, very tactical very quickly. Once you play the first game, and you're kind of like, okay, that's a warm up. Then you're really into tactics, which I think is amazing. A game that is so easy to play and so fun is just fantastic. Again,
I really appreciate that.
At a price point that everyone can grab.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that I think worked out really well is having two very different ways to win the game. There's because you end up with some games where everybody's basically, it does turn into a big free for all, where everybody's just trying to kill each other basically. And those games are super fun. And then there are other games that are more like a rugby match where it's all about getting the ring. People are stealing the ring from each other, trying to run away from everybody so that they can earn more points by holding on to it longer. And again, the map plays a big part in that. There are, the two maps that are in the base edition. One of them has a lot more spaces than the other one. Yeah, you can see them there. That's great. So you can imagine how your tactics change on that smaller map where it's very hard to get away from everybody. So it's very hard to hold on to the ring for long periods of time. Whereas on that other map, you can put some distance between you and everybody else. You have more of a chance of trying to just hold on to the ring long enough to get that 11th summoning point, summon the gods of chaos to your aid, and win the game that way. And then, like I said, Tentacle Island just changes that whole thing. So
So we have another question just popped up in chat. It's from Josh McGuire from the McGuire Review.
Hey, Josh, how are you, man?
So it says definitely a game for people around the table. However, there is a huge opportunity to create an even faster paced digital version of this in the future. I completely agree. Wondering if that has been discussed.
That's a great question. The answer is yes. We have no experience in that, and we want to make sure that if we, hey man, we want to make sure that if we do it, that we do it right. So we did look at it before the Kickstarter, and our feeling was that if we tried to do it right now, it would be rushed and therefore probably not right. Totally agree. Really appreciate hearing you say that, to keep sort of motivating us to explore it, because I do think it can work extremely well. We just want to make sure we do it right. So we're going to take the time, maybe bring in somebody who has experience with that to make sure that we're putting it all together correctly. And then hopefully we'll see that in the future.
Speaking of Josh McGuire, he also got to play test the game.
Yep.
And here's his thoughts on it. BEADLE GRIMMs are known for the highest quality RPG products. Completely agree. What is special here is they combine their ability to bring visual beauty and intuitive design with a set of simple tabletop gaming mechanics. Again, I can't agree more. What we have now is a board game offering an outstanding player experience, which is not to be missed. And again, well done. I raise my glass to you and the team. Huzzah.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you want to really take a deep dive into this game, the best way to do it is to look at the McGuire Review video that he did. Very detailed. I actually learned a lot from watching him go through it because he's so smart and so experienced in that, with tabletop games. So great way to learn about the game. You can see all of it, see if it's for you. And he's very entertaining, does a great job of sort of analyzing all the little bits and pieces. So thank you again, Josh, for doing that.
Cool. Thank you. Now we've also got we're going to talk about a brand new product. I just got a beer delivered. It's not that.
Wow. That's not what we're offering.
Here's beer. Beadle in beer. Right.
That seems like more like something you guys would offer, actually.
We should.
Right?
Badger Brewing.
Badger Ale, yeah. Yeah, sounds right.
So what we're going to do, we'll swap over. We'll make me big for a little moment. But
right.
So Bill has kindly sent over the new product, and here it is. What have you? I call it the encounter case, but what are you calling it, Bill?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's exactly what we're calling it. Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, this is our encounter card case, our encounter case. So we designed this to go, for a long time. We put encounter cards in every one of our platinum boxes and gold boxes and silver boxes. It's been a big part of our product line and one of the most popular things that we put in there. So we've had questions about some kind of organizational case for it for a while. Now that we are able to sell packs of them, if you've looked on our website, we have those. We have 2 packs right now.
The new ones, yes.
Yeah, for encounter challenge rating 0 through 6. There will be, which I think you have, right?
No, I don't have these ones because these ones have the Keith. How do you say his name?
Aman, I think. Yeah.
Aman. So I don't have these ones. But
okay. So
my question is, will these go into your new platinum boxes from here on?
No, the Keith Aman stuff is going to be purely for the standalone products that we put out in packs. So we have 2 packs on sale now. Both of them are contain monsters for challenge ratings 0 through 6. And they come with these tactical tips. Keith, who wrote that very, very popular book, The Monsters Know What They're Doing. There it is. And I think some sequels as well. Really genius idea, really well written, extremely good at helping you as a GM maximize all the things that this monster was designed to do and should be doing. I think it's very common. I know I've had this experience as a DM of playing a high level monster, especially the higher level stuff, where you haven't really thought through what their tactics should be given the powers or combinations of powers that these higher level monsters have. And he's very good at breaking those down into very simple bullet points of, yeah, I should be doing this. I should react like this. This is how I should be dealing with it if I get overwhelmed or I'm outnumbered or whatever. So it's great information for a DM to have. And then, so we'll be coming out with 2 new packs of encounter challenge ratings 7 and up that will be coming in early next year. I will say this is, one of these production things. We thought we would have them earlier. We got prototypes back for them, and the paper quality was not to our liking. So we have sent it back to get it done right, because we want to make sure that these ones that we're selling, these standalone packs, are every bit the same quality that we see in our platinum edition. So anyway, I'm just talking about that and forgetting about the encounter case. Actually came on.
I'll model it for you. There you go.
Yeah.
This is a lovely system because because I buy loads of Beadle and Grimm's products, I've got lots of encounter cards. And the thing is, so the counter cards are based on the story itself.
Yep.
Which means in one box you might have a zombie, in another box you might have a skeleton, in another box you might have something else. But I play so much D&D that I just put them all together. Typically, I keep them in small boxes or bags or whatever. And we were talking about this before we went on air, is that I keep mine in kind of collections. I have undead, I have demons and devils, I have heroes and villains, I have animals, that kind of thing. Steve was talking about he does it in challenge rating.
Yeah, challenge rating.
But the inside, the best thing about this, because I love doing this, you just twist it, unlock it, like any folio we've seen before. But this is custom sized for the encounter cards. You've got the divider in the middle there. And as you can see, your here's a nice one. Look, undead. Here's one that I'm going to kill you with later. There's a swarm of maggots. But yeah, just having them handy that I can search through. So I will be using this. I will be kind of labeling these up. There's plenty of space. And it's just handy. Everything is in there in one go. I've loved using these since I got Saltmarsh was my first box. And just having these because it's far bigger print. And I like having that because it hangs over the DM screen. And I can see it from a distance. I don't have to pick it up and go like that anymore. I can read it from a distance. And I like that. And the artwork is big enough that we play with 8-9 players. So there are players quite far away from us. The artwork is big enough that you can see this artwork. And it's great. It sets the scene. It does everything you need it to do. And I think with the added GM tips from Keith, I think that's
a really good idea.
Is a winner.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. That was a big debate. We were thinking, should we put alphabetical tabs in there? So it's just tab A through Z.
Yeah.
And everybody we talked to had a different idea of how they wanted to organize their cards. Some people wanted alphabetically or challenge rating or sort of location based. Like some people were like, I put all my aquatic creatures together. I put all my desert creatures together. Great. So you can do it however you want. So if you recognize that art, that's the same wonderful artist who did the cover for the Platinum Edition.
Yeah.
Has that same kind of 80s metal vibe. I think that
it does. Yeah, that's what we had in mind as well. And there's like a printing texture to it. It feels lovely.
Oh, good.
So
good.
It feels very like a deluxe. Is this the final or is this?
That is the final. Yeah, you're the only one who has one right now. Actually, wow. The idea was to release it for sale right about now, because we thought we would be releasing the 7 and up challenge rating packs right now, but So now we're trying to decide if we should just hold on to it and wait until those packs are ready, or if we should go ahead and put it on sale now. I think we only made 250 of those, so it's going to be a very limited item, at least initially, and we'll see how it all goes. So yeah, if people are interested, that would be great. Would love to be able to do a reprint of that. We'll just see what the popularity of it is, but we're really proud of it. It just came out exactly the way we wanted to. It took a long time to get the prototype right, but very happy with it, and grateful to you for showing it off.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is lovely. It is beautiful. Highly rate it. So once it's on the shop, do go check it out. Once it's on the shop, we'll put it out across on socials as well.
Thank you.
We are all good. Now we are about to wrap up, so do get your last questions in as quick as you can.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I'm not reading along, and that's I find it difficult to read and speak at the same time, and I'm doing far too much speaking. But anything else anybody wants to know?
Also, to shout out one of your promotions at the moment, I got the email. It's now on their website. Is that Frost Maiden is back in Silver Edition and is on the Beadle & Grimm's website now. So if you like, and I tell you, we have just finished. So back during COVID, it must have been. I bought the Platinum Edition when we first heard this out. I blame Joe. I still blame Joe for that one. Because I told him, don't let me buy another one. And it was like, Frost Maiden, this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. Yeah, just take my money. That's great. It was great. Why not? And we've managed to play it. So we're obviously, since out of lockdown, everyone's gone back to work. Everyone's back around. We're back around our gaming tables. And we finished it last week. It's been a year and a half.
Wow.
Playing fortnightly for like 6 p.m. till midnight, sometimes later. Don't tell my wife. And it's been fantastic. What a great adventure. We were using the additionals, the Tales from the Warehouse, the Light Walkers coming after people. They were scared as anything, plus all the extras, the jewelry, the artifacts, the handouts, the newspapers, the textured maps. It is, I can't rate Beadle. You all know, if you've been watching Beadle & Grimm's, you will be watching Band of Badgers. You know how highly I rate Beadle & Grimm's. From day one since I've known them, the stuff is top quality. So again, completely applaud you for what you do.
Thank you.
And it saves us making it, which is great, because that's what we used to do. We used to make maps with tea stained in and all this kind of stuff.
For sure, yeah.
And they are so much better at it than me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Frost Maiden's a great adventure. I really can't recommend that particular one enough. It's very old school D&D. Lots of really creepy, scary stuff, and great encounters, and like you said, it goes on forever. It's huge. Yes. So you definitely get your money's worth in terms of playtime. Says it goes on for a long time.
Yeah. We've done so we're currently, again, how much I play Beadle & Grimm's. We're currently online, which will be right after this, by the way. So stay on, hang around, watch. We're playing our Dragonlance Steel Edition from Beadle & Grimm's. In the new year, from January, we play Avernus, Descent into Avernus, the Platinum Edition from Beadle & Grimm's. And our next campaign online, after, or maybe during, I'm not sure, we might do it differently. Potentially after Dragonlance, we're going to be doing another Beadle & Grimm's. This is the Golden Vault Grimm's edition. So we will be playing that.
Nice.
We have a ton of stuff coming, so do join us for that.
Thank you.
Bill, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. If we've not managed to answer your question, find us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you have a question, put it into comments below, and I'll send it over to Bill. We'll get all the answers that we can for you. So, oops, just hitting too many buttons there. So many campaigns. Everyone's showing their love now. Look,
didn't we promise some sort of like teaser reveal thing for the end of this?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give a quick announcement first off. So,
bring it.
This video we're doing now, when this goes up on YouTube at the weekend, this is actually our 500th video on the Band of Badgers channel. 500.
Congratulations.
Can you believe it?
500.
Yeah.
You're
It feels like there should be
monster.
some champagne or something.
Yeah, right.
I've got a beer. There you go. I'll
Shake
have a
it
sip.
up
Look,
or something.
I'll just put it all over the wall.
It's English champagne, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
French
French
beer in
beer.
a pint glass. But yeah, we're okay. Before we go, let's do some teasing. 2024 is a big year.
Yeah, huge.
For D&D, we're 50-year anniversary, and
Right.
loads of stuff from BEADLE GRIMM. What are you allowed to tease?
So yeah, not much, but never mind. No. I would say without spoiling anything, we will be doing both a platinum edition this coming year that is going to be huge D&D adventure that is themed to the 50th anniversary that we will be doing a platinum edition for. And then a second one that is also themed to the 50th anniversary in a really interesting way that we will be doing more of a legendary edition set for. So 2 big box sets coming. And we have a special product that is unique to us to sort of celebrate the 50th anniversary. WotC was kind enough to allow us to create sort of our own little product that is that's just it's a cool nostalgic thing that we're really excited about being able to share as sort of our contribution to the celebration of the 50th. And then the other thing that I would tease coming up, and I can't be specific about this, but we are working with another company in a role-playing game setting that we have not worked in before. And we are writing a group of adventures for this role-playing game. So it's going to be, I think, 10 separate adventures, a book of adventures for this role-playing game that will be all BEADLE GRIMM's unique stories. And so we're really, really excited about that. Can't wait to be able to share the details on that. But that's going to be coming up this year.
I think every year it gets bigger and more exciting with all the new things that are coming out. Dragonborn Industries says Starfinder.
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 So,
Anything?
Yeah, so yeah, they have some big stuff coming up, don't they, in the next
Ooh.
year and a half? So
that's a tease, isn't
right?
it? That's a tease.
I keep hearing about this really interesting stuff they're doing. So yeah, that would be something to keep an eye on.
So Dragonborn Industries, he's a player in our Dragonlance game. So I can imagine he's going to be like biting his nails now for you to tease that. He's going to be completely biting his nails.
Yeah, he's going to be very excited during the next session.
Yes, yeah.
Get him all fired up.
Yeah.
Is that the much rumored Charlie project? Boy, I don't know. There's a couple of Charlie projects stacked up at this point. So no, dude, Charlie is also he is taking the lead on our sort of home goods, D&D home goods line. So we've got a couple of really cool ideas for that that are sort of in the final prototype sessions. So those will also be coming out this coming year. So that's something we're really excited about as well. Some really fun ideas with that.
Cool. Absolutely fantastic. Well, we are going to wrap it up there, folks. Again, please do like and share and subscribe and do all those things to everyone you possibly know, even the people you don't know, the strange people you see on the bus, pets, dogs, birds,
especially
anyone.
them, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go look. Have you seen the Band of Badgers and BEADLE GRIMM's? Just
stop backing away. Let me talk to you.
Yeah. Why your hands up like that? just look at my phone. Look at YouTube. Yeah. Just go for it. But Bill, thank you so much for sharing the time. I know. How was your Thanksgiving yesterday? Is it good? You got today off? Are you?
Well, apparently not, because here I am.
Well, yeah. It's his lunchtime. He's here. You're probably hungry by now.
That's right. Yeah, no. I having a lovely week with the family. My kids are home from college, so yeah, it's all great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Cool. Good. And until next time, folks, we will see you again soon. For those of you who are watching this live, hang around for a bit. We'll be about 5 minutes, and we'll be back with some Dragonlance. We've got a cool episode coming up.
Yeah, and for those of you watching it live, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's a lot more fun with your questions, so thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Cool. Cheers all. We'll see you again soon. Bill, don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a sec. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.